Hey guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this Bride of Frankenstein design, which was designed by me. I think she turned out perfect. I'm super happy with how oh, we're going blurry. Focus. Why? Okay, there we go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, she turned out super cute. I'm super happy with how she is. Also, they're a little bit different than my other designs because these you can sit around. She won't sit. I don't know why, but she sits fine. I haven't been able to make her sit yet. She's unbalanced. I think it's just how I did her legs. But they do sit most of the time. So yeah, I made a sitting design and I thought that was cute. Band-wise, this is a pretty band-heavy design for my channel. I feel like some other people have band-heavier designs than this, but for me, this is a pretty band-heavy design. It takes about 463 bands, which I know is a lot, but I really like this design and I didn't want to change how it looked, so I've decided that this one's probably worth the bands. Surprisingly enough, half of the band heaviness is in the hair. The hair takes up 219 bands, so literally half of it's the hair, and then the body, for the skin color, whatever color you want for her skin, it's 96, and then for the white, it's 150. So the breakup of how many bands you use is not too bad, but she is a little band heavy, so sorry about that, but I didn't want to fix her. Maybe next year I can make like a smaller version, but for now, I really liked her size, and I think she's a good size. I also think it would be cute maybe to sit her on a shelf or your desk or something. I think that's what I'm gonna do with mine. I'm gonna sit them in my room somewhere. So, despite she's band heavy, she's actually not too hard to make. At least I don't think so. When I was making her again to write down the pattern, that's when I did her. She's actually pretty easy. I think the hardest part is, if anything, is doing the hair. But if you struggle a lot with the hair, because it's kind of hard to see between the wrap bands and then the fact that we're using the color black, it makes it kind of hard to see. So if you have problems with the hair, you could always just not put the wrap bands, and it probably won't look as good, but it would be easier. But other than that, I don't think she's hard, so she's pretty easy, and because she's a little bigger, I feel like that's also why she's easier. But yeah, I'm super happy with her. Love how she turned out, and yeah, she'll be getting a tutorial. If you saw my post on Instagram, I did also make a Frankenstein as well. I don't know if he'll be getting a tutorial this year. I feel like I need to fix his head shape. Something's not right in his head shape. So I don't know if this year he'll be getting a tutorial, but she is, so yeah, Shelly's getting a tutorial this year. So you're going to want to get whatever color you want for this. I'm going to be using almost the exact same colors today. So for the black, I'll be using black again. For the white, I'm using white. The only difference is I'm changing her skin color, so today she's going to be this green color. And yeah. So, of course, to make this, you're going to need a C-clip to mark your O's and a hook, and I just realized I forgot my hook, so let me go grab my hook. Okay. So I went and grabbed my hook. I'm going to be using my double-ended hook today as always, but you can use whatever hook you like, crochet hook, Rainbowloom hook, whatever you have. And yeah, I think that's it, so we will get into it. I think this is going to be a long tutorial. I made her at work yesterday while writing down the pattern, and it took me almost 2 hours, so this might be a long tutorial, but it's worth it. She's worth it. I feel like if this is going to be like the one bigger design you make for Halloween, it's worth it. So yeah. And we'll get started. Like I said, I don't know if I said this already, patterns in the description if you just want to follow that. But if not, we will get started making her. I am just picking up the bands. So we're going to start with her skin color, so whatever color you want for her skin. You could do peach. I think she's probably actually peach. I don't know what color she actually is, but I made them fun colors because these glow in the dark, so they glow in the dark, and I think that's fun. So yeah. But anyways, to start, we're going to start with a tripled cat band. Let me get everything focused. Okay, so we're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, 3. So once you've wrapped it around your hook 3 times, you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook. Put both ends back on, and then you'll push the back one over the front one. Then you'll go back into the cat band, pull a band through just the cat band, so not this last loop. Put both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And we're going to do that exact same thing we just did 3 more times. So we have 5 loops in total in the cap band. So we'll go back in, pull the band through just the cap band, both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and push the loop from last time over. And we just do that 2 more times. That's 1, 2. So once you think you have 5 loops in your cap band, you're just going to want to make sure. So you're going to start by counting the 1 on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once you have 5 loops in your cap band, instead of going back into the cap band, we're going to go into this first loop here. So you go through that loop, pull the band through just the loop, put the back one over the front one, and then put the loop from last time over as well. And we'll be putting our C-clip on this one. So we'll just put it on the band that is on our hook. Like that. So now what we're going to be doing for this next row is we're going to be increasing everything. So every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. And if you don't know what an increase is, I'll show you. So what an increase is you basically put 2 stitches in each loop. So this one already has 1 stitch in it, but because we're increasing everything, we're going to want to go back in and do another stitch. Like that. And we just keep doing this. So you'll go into the next loop, you'll do 1 stitch, and then you'll go back in and you'll do another one. And that's an increase. And we just keep doing that all the way around. So you just put 2 stitches in each loop until you get back to the C-clip. And then once you get back to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And then you're going to move the C-clip up from this loop onto the one on your hook. Like that. So now if you count around, you should be at 10 loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 loops. So that's it for that row. And for the next row, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be increasing every third. So we're going to do 2 single stitches and then an increase, and then 2 single stitches and then an increase. And we keep doing that until we get to the C-clip. Well, that's weird. This band I have that is green, it has like a speck of orange in it. That's weird. We'll use it. So like I said, we're going to be doing 2 single stitches and then an increase. So this is a single stitch. It just has 1 stitch in the loop. So we'll go to the next loop. We'll do another single stitch. And then, because we're increasing every third, so we did 2 single stitches, and the next loop's the third loop. So we'll be doing an increase. So we put 2 stitches in this one. Like that. And we just keep repeating this. So you do 2 single stitches. So 1 single stitch. Go to the next one. Do another single stitch. And then after we do 2 single stitches, we'll do an increase. And like I said, we just keep doing this. So go 1, 2, and then we do an increase, but I've run out of bands on my hand. I just realized I think I forgot stuffing. I always forget to mention at the beginning that you probably need stuffing. I never remember. So ugh. Okay, there we go. And then once again, once you get to the C-clip, you'll make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it, or the loop, I guess, and then you'll move your C-clip up. Like that. So now if you count around, you should be at 13 loops. So we'll start by counting the one on our hook again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we should be having 13. So we should have 13 loops, and it should look something like this. So now what we're going to do is for the next 2 rows, we're just going to do 2 rows of normal single stitches, whatever. I always say 2 rows normal, which I just mean 2 rows of single stitches. So that's what we're going to be doing next. And at the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 13 loops. So that's what we're going to do. So you just put 1 stitch in every loop until you get back to the C-clip, and we do this for 2 rows. So you just do 2 rows of single stitches. You know, this is actually going a little faster than I thought, and I don't know if it's because I'm looming fast. I always get the comments that are like, slow down. Actually, I've been getting less of those, but I feel like we're powering, we're really powering through this one, like this pattern. Or maybe it's because yesterday I was still trying to figure out what I did, so I had to keep undoing and then redoing to fix my mistakes. But we already seem to be going faster than I was yesterday, so I don't know. And then once again, once you get to the C-clip, you'll make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it and move it up. So that was our first row of single stitches. Like I said, we have to do 2, so we're going to do 1 more. If you count around right now, you should still be at 13 loops, but I'm going to count after I finish my 2 rows of just normal stitches, normal single stitches, yeah. Yep. So once again, we're going to just go around doing single stitches. Yeah, I think after I finish doing all my Halloween designs, I don't know if I've said this in one of my other tutorials already, but someone said I should do a video on how to read my patterns, and I'm planning on doing one once I finish with the Halloween designs. I think it was kind of fun this week that I put out a tutorial almost every day. You guys got like 4 tutorials this week. This will be 5. So you're probably going to get like 6 tutorials because I'm going to do the pumpkin. Which is a lot of tutorials in 1 week. But then again, I didn't notice. I posted like 0 tutorials this month, and I was like, oops. But yeah. And then once again, once we get to the C-clip, you make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And you move it up. And now if we count around, we should still be at 13 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we just count around to make sure we didn't accidentally increase anywhere. But after the 2 rows, it should be looking something like this. So now we're going to start decreasing. And we basically just decrease so that way she has a neck. So we're going to be decreasing every third. So it's very similar to when we were increasing every third, except for we're going to be doing 2 stitches, like 2 single stitches and then a decrease. So it's very similar to what we did before, but kind of like the opposite, I guess. Kind of, sort of. I don't know. I don't know, man. So like I said, we're doing 2 single stitches. So this one with the C-clip on it will count as our first one. So that's 1. This one will be 2. And then we're going to do a decrease. So if you don't know what a decrease is, I'm going to show you. So what a decrease is you're basically going to grab the inner half of the first loop, and then you're going to go to the next loop, and you're going to grab the back half. Then you just make a stitch, and that's a decrease. So I'll show you again, but we have to do 2 single stitches first. So 1, 2, and then once again we'll be decreasing. So you grab the inner half of the first loop, and then you go to the next loop, and you grab the back half, and that's a decrease. And then we'll do 2 single stitches. And then we'll decrease again. And then it should be 1 single stitch and then you're at the C-clip. And once again, once you get to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it and move it up. Like that. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be decreasing. We're going to be decreasing everything. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease. Also, if you're using safety eyes, you might want to put them in right now. Right now is probably a good time. Yeah, on the when I did the safety eyes for these guys, I kind of didn't put the backs on them so they can just pop out, but they've stayed in pretty well, so I'm just leaving them. But yeah, I haven't put the backs on yet, and I don't think I'm gonna do it for this one. I'm just gonna stab them in at the end, it's fine. But yeah, if you want to put your safety eyes in, now's the time. But yeah, so we're gonna be decreasing everything, like I said, so every single stitch we do is gonna be a decrease, so you just start decreasing, and you just decrease all the way around. Oh my gosh, struggling a little bit. Okay, so the last decrease, there should be one single stitch that we do before the C-clip, because we don't want to decrease on the one with the C-clip on it. So we're just going to do a single stitch, and then we'll do a single stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. Oof. Ugh, that band didn't pull through all the way. And then we'll move our C-clip up. So now if you count around, you should be at 6 loops. So you'll start by counting the one on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. And we might want to put a little stuffing in the head right now because it just gets harder to stuff after this. So I'm going to put a little bit of stuffing in the head. This is probably too much stuffing, but I left such a tiny hole too. I'm stuffing off camera because it's hard to stuff on camera. There we go. It's all stuffed. Okay. So now that we are at 6 stitches and we just finished decreasing everything, we're going to increase everything now. And we're going to start adding our white. So we're going to be doing where we are at right now is like at this neckline. So we're going to be doing, it's actually easier to see on her. We're going to be doing this little neck bit and then the white. It's actually really easy. So yeah. So like I said, we're increasing everything, so every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. But these first 2 stitches are going to be in green, and then the rest are going to be in white. So we're going to do, it's the first increase, and the second increase. And then after you do the 2 stitches in green, you're going to switch over to white. And we do something a little bit different to flip colors just because it makes the color flipping look nicer. If I could pick up these bands, I'm struggling a bit. But yeah, so when you flip colors, and this pretty much, well, this is the only time, well, this neck part's the only time we flip colors, but anytime you flip colors in the neck, you're going to want to slip stitch when you flip colors. So what a slip stitch is you basically pull a band through everything on your hook. Instead of just a loop, you pull it through everything. And then you put the back one over the front one. And that's just so it flips colors nicer. We'll just continue increasing. Like that. So you'll just continue increasing all the way around. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And you'll move it up. Like that. So now if you count around, you should be at 12 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, nope, there should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do I only have 11? Let me go check. Okay, I figured out where I only have 11. You can kind of see I increased here. I accidentally did a single stitch here, which is why we always count around, is because sometimes we'll accidentally mess up. So you can tell there was 2 stitches in this loop. I only did 1 in this one, and we were supposed to be increasing everything, but I forgot. So we'll just go back. add a stitch, and then reloop everything. And then we're good. And now, if we count around, we should have 12 loops. So now if we count, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As we're supposed to. So now we're going to do one row normal, but we're going to finish adding the little neck bit. So yeah. We only need 2 green bands. I don't know why I was picking up a bunch. But basically, oh, kind of went blurry for a second. There we go. Basically, the next 2 stitches are going to be in the skin color or whatever color you have for your skin. And once again, we're flipping back to green, so we're going to want to slip stitch. So you'll pull your band through everything on your hook. Put the back one over the front one. And then we flip colors to green. Like I said, these 2 stitches will be in green. I also don't know if I said this is going to be a row of just normal single stitches all the way around. We're not increasing, we're not decreasing. We're going to be doing a row of single stitches. I forgot to say that, I think. But yeah, those were our first 2 single stitches. So now we're going to finish going around the rest in doing single stitches, but this time we're going to be doing it in white. Well, for the rest of this part, actually, that was the last of the green we do. The rest of this is all in white. And I'm picking up bands. Okay. So after we do those, we're going to have to slip stitch back to white. So we'll slip stitch back to white. And then we just continue doing single stitches around the rest until we get to the C-clip. So we're just doing single stitches all the way around. Until we get to the C-clip, which we're almost there. Okay, and then once you get to the C-clip, you'll make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it and move it up. And if you count around, you should still be at 12 loops, so we'll double check to make sure we didn't do anything wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now here's the part where it gets really repetitive. So we're going to be doing 5 rows of just all single stitches in just all white. And it's pretty repetitive, so I'm going to stay on to do the first row, and then I'm going to go off to do the other 4, just so this tutorial isn't ridiculously long. And yeah. So like I said, we're just going to do single stitches all the way around in white. So it's just 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. So it was kind of funny yesterday because I was looming at work because I worked yesterday. I had a long shift. I worked from 3 all the way until 10. And I mean, I kind of, like, when I first started doing those shifts, they felt like they were forever. But now I just kind of bring something to do. Like, usually I'll bring my sketchbook, but this time because I'm trying to hurry up and put out the Halloween tutorials, I was looming. And I don't know if people usually don't see other people looming because everyone was staring at me. Kind of, well, we had one customer and she just kept looking over. I think she was trying to see what I was doing. And I was just like, I was like looking back because I'm like, did you need something, you know? Because I don't know, sometimes people ask for extra napkins and stuff, but nah. I think they were just watching me loom, and I'm like, okay. Weird, but okay. So that was it for that row. So that was 1 row of single stitches. So we just did single stitches all the way around. And if we count, we should still be at 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're just going to want to do that same thing for 4 more times. I forgot what I was saying. We're going to do 4 more single rows. I'm going to go off camera to do them just because I don't want the tutorials to be, like I said, ridiculously long. So I'm going to go off camera, do 4 more rows of single stitches. They're all in white. So yeah. and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you how to close up this bit. Oh my god, is it recording already? I don't know if I hit unpause earlier. Hopefully it wasn't. Anyways, I just finished my 5 rows. I don't think it was... My hook just accidentally slid down my sleeve. But after the 5 rows, it should be looking something like this. I also realized I probably told you to put the safety eyes in early, because this neck bit, you may have put the safety eyes on the back of the head. If that's the case, it's fine. She just will have this thing in the back. But you probably want to put your safety eyes in after you do the neck bit, which I realize now, but yeah, I've only had safety eyes for less than a week. So that's why I don't know when to add them in. But yeah, so after the 5 rows, like I said, it should be looking something like this. So now what we're going to do is we are going to close this up, and we're probably going to want to stuff him a little bit right now just because it does get very tight pretty quick. So we're going to put a little bit of stuffing in. And yeah. Oops, I accidentally grabbed some bands. Okay, so I'm just stuffing him a little, or her a little, I guess. And then, okay, where are we in my pattern? I don't even know. Okay, I know where I am. So now what we're going to do is we are going to be decreasing every other. So every other stitch we do is going to be a decrease. So this is going to be our first single stitch. So the next one's going to be a decrease. So once again, you grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. And that's a decrease. If I didn't accidentally let go of it. And then, like I said, we're going to be alternating. So we're going to do a single stitch. So that's what I just did. And then we'll do a decrease. And then we'll do a single stitch. And then we're going to do decrease. We'll do a single stitch. And then we will do a decrease. And then you should be at the band that has the C-clip on it. So you'll make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it. And you can move it up, but at this point I'm going to just take it out. So we don't need that for now. And now if you count around, you should be at 7 loops. So if we count around, we should have 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do I have 8? Ugh, why do I keep doing this? Single decrease. Okay, I don't know. 3, 4, 5. Okay, you know, I think I wrote it wrong because I think we're supposed to have 8. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I can't count. So you should have 8 loops, like I said before. So now we're going to finish closing this up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to be decreasing everything. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease. You know, I feel like I'm being really loud today. I wonder if my whole family can hear me. If they can, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're going to be decreasing everything. So everything we do is a decrease. And it's kind of hard to show you what I'm doing because it does get really tight here. But once you have the last decrease up on your hook, so the last one you can pick up, you're going to want to pull a band through everything on your hook, put the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we'll just hide our tail. I always go off camera to hide my tails. It's just hard to hide them on camera. Okay. I probably should have put more stuffing in her, but she does not have that much stuffing. It's fine. It's fine. So, yeah, now she should look like this. So now we have to add pretty much everything onto this shape, and I do have an order I kind of go in. So we're going to start by doing the legs. So we pretty much go legs, skirt, arms, hair, and then I do the face. So we'll start by doing the legs. And the legs are pretty easy.
And we're going to be needing our C-clip again. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to want to come right here. You're going to want to find where the middle is. So right here is about the middle, and you're going to make 2 legs on each side of this. I do make them come pretty close in the middle, so there is usually a band that is like exactly in the middle. I do stitch onto this to make the circle for the leg. But we're going to basically just be stitching into our creation here. And we're going to make like a little circle that is like 5 stitches long. So that's 1. This will be 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So I went around 5 times in a circle and I stitched in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just count to make sure you did 5. And then you'll go into the first loop. You'll make a stitch and we'll put our C-clip on this one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 rows normal, so just all single stitches around this thing we made. So we'll just do 3 rows doing single stitches all the way around this thing we made. It's kind of hard to show you what I'm doing because this leg is pretty tight. But that was 1 row, so we still have to do 2 more. And I'm going to do them all on camera because the legs go pretty quick. So like I said, we have to do 3 rows in total, so that was 1. So I'm going to go around and do another one because we need 3. This is row 2. So that was 2 rows. So we have to go around and do 1 more. And it's just a little hard to do this because it's tight, but it's not too bad because it's kind of still, like, you can still see pretty well. Okay. So that was 3 rows. So it should be looking something like this. And then now what we're going to do is we're just going to decrease everything till it's closed. And we pretty much only decrease 2 times. So you do 1 decrease. And then the next one would pretty much be it. So once you have that last decrease up in your hook, you pull a band through everything on your hook. Back one over the front one and pull tight. Like that. Then you tuck it in. I usually just pull it into the leg. You can pull it a little bit into your creation if the tail still sticks out a little bit. Like that. And we just do this exact same thing again on this side. So let me get some more green bands and we're just going to repeat it on this side. So the legs are pretty easy. Not too bad. Honestly, the hardest part is definitely the hair. I also think it's going to take the longest because this tutorial is actually pretty short so far, but that hair is going to take a while. So yeah, so we're just going to come on this side again. We're going to want to go start our circle kind of in the middle. So we'll start here. And once again, we'll make a little circle that is about 5 stitches around. 1. There we go. So it should be, you're just going to want to make sure it's 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've made sure it's 5 stitches, you'll go into the first loop, make a stitch, and place your C-clip. And your legs don't have to look exactly like mine. I don't really have an exact spot I usually just try to put them pretty close together and in the middle. Well, 1 on each side of the middle. But yeah, after we do the stitch in circle of 5, we're going to do 3 rows normal. And because we already did this, I'm not going to explain too much. I'm just going to hurry up and do the 3 rows. It doesn't take much time at all. So that was 1 row. Two rows. And we gotta do 1 more. And 3 rows. So once you do 3 rows, you'll want to count around and make sure you have 5. I can already see that I have 5 loops, so I'm just going to continue on to the next step, which is to just decrease everything until it's closed. And here we pretty much only do 2 decreases, so you'll do the first decrease. And then the next decrease is technically the last one, so we'll just pick up that decrease onto our hook, then pull a band through everything. Oops, not that far through everything. Pull a band through everything on our hook. Tie shut, and then tuck it in. Like that. And that is it for the legs. So like I said, we go legs and then skirt. So the next part we're going to do is the skirt. And it's not too hard either. It is a little bit more bands just because we have to go all the way around. This is also the last thing we do with our white. Picking up bands again and making sure I know what to do. Okay. So we're going to start a little high up. I usually start in the back here just so that way the end... Well, you can't really see a seam in the skirt, but in case you could, I always just start directly in the back. And we're going to want to go pretty high up. So the skirt comes across, like right here. You can kind of see in this one. Comes across like right here. Right? Yeah, like right here. So we're going to want to follow. So you see this? Follow it all the way to the back. And that is where you're going to want to start your skirt. So, and we're just going to stitch around. And there is a pretty exact spot I stitch for the skirt. So you see these have like this folded over bit and then that underneath. We're going to go on all of these all the way around in a circle around the body. Trying to make sure you can see where I'm going through. Keeping my fingers out of the way so you guys can see. And there will be a little bit of an awkward spot on this times. It's happened both times I made him because you want the skirt to end up here, but then it starts to kind of go down, so you're going to want to make sure you go up to the right spot. I don't know why it happens. I think it's just because of how the rows are, but you're going to want to make sure you end where you started. So there we go. I've circled all the way around the body, and we are back at this first loop here. You can see that's the first loop. That part might look like a stitch, but it's not. It's actually this one. So just make sure you go through the right part. We're just going to make a stitch. And then we'll put a C-clip on this one. So we're going to want to count around to see how many loops we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you should have 11 loops around. Both the times I've made this, I've had 11 loops. But if you have 12, it's probably honestly not the biggest deal if you have one extra than me. But now what we're going to do is we are going to be increasing every other. So we're going to do a single stitch, an increase, a single stitch, and an increase. All the way around. Until we get back to our C-clip. So The one with the C-clip on it will count as our first single stitch, so the next one will be an increase. And then we'll do a single stitch. Then we'll do an increase. And we just alternate doing that all the way around. It is a little awkward, like it kind of gets awkward to loom sometimes, just because of where we're looming, but you just keep doing a single stitch. And then an increase all the way around. My voice is kind of starting to hurt from talking so much. I love making more complicated designs, but sometimes with the tutorials, my voice starts to go when we're towards the end. We are about towards the end right now, but I don't know how long the hair is going to take, because last time the hair took me a while. Trying to see what I just did. So yeah, this is a little awkward to loom, but it's okay. I feel like this first row is the worst one to loom because of how kind of awkward it is. And then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it. And move it up. And if we count around right now, we should be at 16 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like that. Okay, so yeah, my set of my load was a little different. I took a water and a snack break because I've been filming for a while, but we are back and we are ready to finish filming this. My break was literally like 5 minutes, but you know, it's chill. Okay. So, we just finished increasing every other. I believe we already counted around. So what we're going to be doing for this next row is we are going to be doing one row normal. So just one row of single stitches all the way around this skirt piece. Trying to make sure my camera's focused. There we go. So we're just going to do one row of single stitches all the way around the skirt. And at the end of this row, we should still be at 16 stitches. You know, I'm kind of dreading how long the hair is going to take. Because I know, like, we're probably going to finish the skirt and then the arms right now. But the hair, it just takes me so long to make because we put wrapped bands plus we have to put the white line and everything. I hope the hair doesn't take too long. I'm kind of ready to go eat lunch already. But I want to finish this tutorial because I know if I go and eat food and stuff, I'm not going to come back to finish filming, and I really want to post this tomorrow, so gotta power through. I do enjoy filming though. Like, it's not like I'm like torture while filming. No, I'm having fun. I just feel like I have such a short like attention span because after filming for like an hour, I'm usually ready to move on and do something else. But I feel like that's with any hobby I have. I'm just like, after an hour of doing it, I'm like, yep, I'm ready to do something else. So once you get to the C-clip, you're going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it and move it up. So like I said, at the end of this row, we should still have 16. So we'll count around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like that. And for the last row of the skirt, we're going to be increasing every third. So we're going to do 2 single stitches and then an increase and then... So it's very similar to what we did in the head, but this time we're doing it on the skirt. So you do 2 single stitches, an increase, and then you do 2 single stitches and an increase, and you just keep doing that until you get to the C-clip. So this is 1, this next one's 2. And then we're going to do an increase. Then we're going to do 1. And then 2. Then we do an increase. And we just keep doing this. on the first one of these I made, I used jelly white because I was like, oh, it'll make her look all like spooky and like ghosty. But then when I was making the second one, I just took one of those mix pack. I forget which ones, but the ones that have like the glow blue, the glow light purple, and then the glow white, and I just took it to work with me, and I really like how she glowed. So that's why this is actually glow white I'm using right now, so that way she can glow in the dark. Her skin won't glow in the dark though, like the other ones, because I just used regular jelly green. I don't even think they should make a glow green. That would be... Why haven't they? Time to go message Rainbowloom and be like, I have a great idea. Like, I really wanted to make one of these in like a greenish, like a light green. But I didn't have any. So I guess that color doesn't really exist. Like, if they made like a glow green that's like a pastel green that glows, that would be perfect. I mean, technically I think it does come in like the pastel glow mix, but like you'd have to get so much of those mix packs and then sort out the bands. Like, oh no, not doing that. I used to sort my bands, but I actually don't really do it at all anymore. I just don't have the patience because it takes a while. Do you guys sort your bands? Tell me if you sort your bands. I'm just curious. I know I used to, and it's helpful when you do, but the patience you have to have for that is just non-existent anymore. I just leave them in their packs, or I'll just put them in my case, like all mixed up, and then I'll pick out what I need. Because, yeah, I just don't have the patience for that. Okay, and once we get to the band that has a C-clip on it, we're going to tie it off. So we're going to tie it off on this one. So you'll pull the band through everything on your hook, put the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we're going to hide the tail up into the skirt, so you're going to want to go through some of the inside of these stitches. And we'll just pull the tail in. Then you put the skirt back down. And you can take the C-clip out. And that's it for the skirt. I know I didn't count around or anything. I usually don't. I just leave it. Oh, see, she sits as well. I don't know why this one won't stand. Not important, but I don't know why she won't stand. But this one sits pretty well, too. Weird. Okay, so now she should be looking something like this. And the next thing she needs is arms. So we're going to get to doing that. We're so close to done, though. Yay. I don't know if it's just me, but at a certain point in any creation, I'm just like, I want to finish. I want to see how the end product looks. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so for the arms, we are going to do a tripled cap band basically with 4 stitches in it. So we're going to wrap a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, 3. And then we'll be putting 4 stitches in this cap band. So we'll start by pulling a band through just the cap band, putting the back one over the front one, and then you'll go back through the cap band, pull the band through just the cap band, put the back one over the front one, then put the loop from last time over, and we do the exact same thing 2 more times. So you pull it through just the cap band, make a stitch. I'm not explaining too much right now because we've been doing this, so not much explaining needed. But after you've done 4 stitches, you're just going to want to count around to make sure you have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll go into this first loop here, make a stitch, and then we'll put our C-clip on this one. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just do 2 rows normal around this. So we're just going to do 2 rows of single stitches. So we're going to go around and do 2 rows of single stitches. And it's kind of hard to do this, I know. It might be a little tight, but it's not too bad, I think. So that was 1. And if you count around, you should still be at 4 loops. But I'm going to keep going. Okay, so that one's 2. And then after you do two rows normal and you should still be at 4 stitches, we're just going to take our C-clip out and we're going to close this up. So we're going to pick up, like we're going to decrease, and then we'll pull a band through everything on our hook. And then, I don't know, do I pull tight? No, I think I just pull a band through everything on my hook. And then I use this band to tie it into her. So just tie it in. And then I'll usually tie in the bottom of the arm in the dress somewhere. And last time I used a white band to tie it in. Okay. Then we just hide the tails. Like that. So I'm going to go make the other arm, and I'm going to come back to attach it, but I'm going to make the other arm off camera. So I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished the other arm, so we're going to tie it in. I don't know if it's helpful if you guys see where I tie things in. That's why I always come back to tie them in. Just because I think it's maybe helpful. I'm going to go right here. I'm sorry, you guys can't even see where I'm tying in. I come back to tie it in, you can't even see. Okay. I usually just bend the arm how I want it to bend and then see where I tie it in. So about right here. Then we'll get a white band. Tie it in. And then we'll hide both the tails in. To me, it's really easy to hide tails in this design, which is nice. But hooray, she has arms. She's sitting. So what does she need next? She needs hair. So hair is the part I've been dreading just because I know it's going to take a bit, but it's not too hard to do. You're going to want to get some black, probably a lot of black bands because this takes like 200. So you're going to want to get your black. And what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to stitch around her head. So I also kind of like to imagine a hairline because I have it coming down in the back and then we slowly go up, we go around her face and then we go back down. So we're going to want to do that again. So you're going to start in the back, we'll go up, and then you'll come back down and you come around. Just think of how a hairline looks. There's not really any exact spot I go in for this. You kind of just gotta go for it. Once again, though, we start in the back just so that way if there's any like noticeable seam between where we start and end, it's kind of in the back. But we'll just start going around the head, stitching in. So you'll start low and then you'll slowly go up. Oh, my camera's focused. It was not. But we're just stitching around the head to make a hairline, and I don't think we're gonna probably end up with the same number of stitches, but we're just gonna stitch around the head. And you're gonna want to come back down here. Yeah, that's a pretty good hairline. I'm not explaining exactly where I'm stitching right now just because you're just gonna have to go for it. There's not much explaining for me to do. Okay. Then once we get to the start, this first loop, we'll go through that loop, make a stitch, and then we'll be putting our C-clip on this one.
So now you should, if you count around, you should have around this many loops. I'm not going to say exactly this many loops because I have ended up with different numbers when I stitch around their heads. So if you have one more or one less than me, it's not a big deal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have 13. Last time I stitched around her head, I had 16 loops. So just as long as you're happy with where the hairline is, it's not huge. If you have way more bands than me, or way more stitches, or you have way less, it's not a huge deal. And right now I'm just making sure I didn't stitch too low because I do use big eyes and I think I might have stitched too low. Yeah, I did. So I'll adjust her hairline. I'm gonna go off camera and basically I'm just gonna undo it and then I'm gonna move it a little higher. Just make sure you have space for your eyes and everything. As long as you like where the hairline is, if you're a couple more bands than me or less, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm gonna go fix her hairline. Okay, I just remembered that one thing I've been using as a tell for how high my hairline should go is you can see that there's an increase right here. You can see these two. And on the first one I did, the increase is right here on her forehead, which means it has to be outside her hairline. So I always just make sure to go higher than that increase right there. So we were a little too low last time, I think. So I'm just going to redo it. Just make sure that one increase is sticking out. I just want to make sure she has enough space that I can put her face in. It probably is going to look exactly the same to you guys, and you're going to be like, you didn't fix anything. But I did fix her hairline a bit. That's a little better. I don't know. You probably think it looks the same, but I did stitch it a little higher. Okay. So now is where it kind of gets repetitive, but not repetitive at the same time. So we're going to add the white spot on the 9th and 10th stitches. And we're going to add fluff. So I'll show you how to do that. But we're going to do this for 5 rows, and it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to try to show you how to do it so I don't have to stay on camera for all 5, but I might have to because it's a little confusing, but not confusing at the same time. So every single loop after this one that is black is going to have fluff on it, as I say. So what that means is basically before we do any stitch, we're going to double a band on our hook. And then we'll go into the next loop. We'll make a stitch. And after we put the back one over the front one, we're just going to slide that fluff band over and then slide the other loop over. And that's how we add fluff. So double a band on your hook, you go through the next loop, you make a stitch, and after you put the back one over the front one, you slide over that fluff band and then slide the loop from last time over. And we're going to want to do, like I said, we're going to want to do 8 stitches in black, and then we're going to start adding the white spot. So you're just going to do 8 stitches. Every single one of them has fluff until I tell you to stop adding it. Oops, just whacked my camera. But we don't stop adding it for a while. All 5 of these normal rows of just single stitches all have fluff. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add the white stripe on this, the next 2 loops right here, but they're actually not the loops I wrote down in the pattern. So I don't think, we're probably going to end up putting the white spot in the same exact spot. So what I'm going to tell you to do is you're basically going to want it to be on one of the sides of your head. It's going to take up 2 loops. So just figure out a spot where you want to put the white stripe. And it doesn't have to be the exact same as my spot, and it's probably going to be different more than likely. But just pick a spot. And then, so I'm going to put mine right here on these 2 stitches. So
The next stitch we do will be in white, and we're going to slip stitch. So every time we flip to white, we're slip stitching. So we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook, then put the back one over the front one. And then we do that again for the next loop. Well, we don't have to slip stitch because this one's white, so we don't have to slip stitch. But then when we flip back to black, we have to slip stitch. So you'll pull a band through everything on your hook, then put the back one over the front one. And we just do that so it flips colors nicer. You don't have to do it. I just do it. But yeah. But this one also needs a fluff band on it, so you're going to want to hold that loop. This is usually what I do. Double a band on your hook, and then just slide it on. Like that. And then the rest of the way will just be in black. So the rest of the way here, we just do all single stitches until we get to the C-clip. And we're still adding fluff onto every single one of them. And once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it, and you still add fluff to this one. And then you move your C-clip up. And that was one row. Like I said, we have to do 5 in total, so we still need to do 4 more. But that's the first one. And we're pretty much going to do the same thing. The only hard part about this is just the white spot, basically. But I'm going to show you something, and then it should make sense. So I'll do the next 2 rows on camera, and then I'll probably go off to do the rest. Okay, so we're just going to keep doing single stitches until we get to the white spot. Wherever your white spot is. Oop, that's really blurry, I'm sorry. But we're just going to keep doing single stitches. I'm kind of looking over my camera right now, because whenever I use black bands, it's really hard to see what I'm doing. But we're just doing single stitches and adding fluff, so it's not too bad that you guys can't see very well, because it's pretty simple what we're doing. Okay. I need to pick up more black bands. You always go through black bands so quick with the hair because we're adding fluff. Actually, because I did less, I stitched around less times, it's probably going to use a lot less black bands than it would if I stitched as many as last time, but it doesn't matter really. Okay. Okay, so, sorry, that was probably a lot okay. So once we get to the white spot, where we're going to put the white this row is pretty simple. We're going to put it on the 2 stitches that are white, so those will be white. So we'll slip stitch again, because we're flipping colors. And I usually don't put any fluff on this part. I don't know why, I just think it looks fine like that. You could add fluff if you want to. But we'll do our 2 white stitches, and then we'll slip stitch back to black. So we'll do our slip stitch first, and then we have to add fluff after. That's what's important to remember about this one. So after you slip stitch, you'll add your fluff. And I'll usually just hold the loop with my fingers. Add fluff on my hook, and then slide it down. And then we just do single the rest of the way with fluff on it. Okay, and that was our second row. So we still need to do 3 more, but there's something different that happens this row with the white stripe, so that's why I stayed on camera for this many rows. So I'm going to keep going. I usually don't count around on these. You might want to, so you might want to count when you originally do your stitch around the head, and then just keep counting every row to make sure you don't miss anything, because sometimes with the fluff and everything it can get very confusing. I'm just not counting because I feel like I know how many stitches I have. Basically, I'm being cocky and I'm like pretending I know what I'm gonna do. But yeah. Yep. I'm just hoping I don't miss any stitches, basically. But once again, we're going to go all the way until one before the white stitch, just with single stitches. So we're going to keep doing single stitches all the way, but we're going to stop one before the white stitch. I'm just going around. And once we get to one before the white stitch, what we're going to do this row is basically we're going to shift the white back one. And this is the part that I don't know if it's going to be confusing, but basically because when you do Loomigurumi, if you keep putting the white on the same two white stitches, it's eventually going to look like it's going this way. So every other row, so for this row, we're going to add the white on the one before the white band, and then on the white band, and then this one will be black. So we stopped at one before the white band, so this is the one this time that we switched to white. And then we do one on this white band. So it's the same two stitches, it's just you want to start doing the white on the black band this time. And then the next one, we'll go flip back to black. And once again, we slip stitch because we're flipping colors, and then we want to add that fluff band on afterwards. And we do single stitches until the end. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So that's the part I consider probably most complicated for the hair, is basically every other row you do, you want to do your white stitches at the one before, so the black loop before and then on the white loop. And then for the next row, you do it on both the white loops. And then the row after, you do it on the one before the white loop, so the black loop before the white loop. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you do it on the white loop. And you keep alternating doing that until you finish the hair. So you can go off at this point, do the other two rows. I'm going to stay on for one more row to explain it just to make sure everyone knows what we're doing. And then I'm going to go off and do the other rows. But yeah, so that's kind of a harder part about the hair, but it is something I've noticed in Loomigurumi, that if you want to do a straight line, you can't just do a straight line because eventually it would end up all spirally. So yeah. The hair just takes so long because of how many wrap bands you have to add, like my gosh. But we're at the C-clip. So we'll just move our C-clip up. And like I said before, because the last row we did the white on the black band that was before the white loop. This row we're going to do both the whites on the white bands. So I'm going to do that this row. And I think after this row I'm going to go off to finish the hair. Off camera. Well, not finish the hair, but finish the single rows. Just because it's kind of hard to do on camera. It gets kind of hard to see with all the fluff bands in the way. And the fact that I'm using black, it's just kind of hard to see. Okay. And then once we get to the white spot, because the last row we moved it back one, this row we're just going to do it on both the white loops. So remember, slip stitch to flip colors. And then we'll slip stitch when going back to the black. And because we slip stitch, we have to add our fluff band on afterwards. And then we just continue doing single stitches. I'm picking up more black bands. You know, this hair is actually going faster than I thought. I guess I was just being slow yesterday. I'm almost there. Okay. So that was our third row. We still have to do 2 more. So I'm gonna go off camera to do the other 2. And I'm just gonna explain what we need to do for the white for the next 2 rows. But if you're still confused, you can go back to the past 2 rows I just did on camera and just repeat exactly how I did those. And you'll be fine for the next 2 rows. But basically, because we stitched 2 on the white loops the last time, this time we're gonna be moving it back 1 again. So your white will go on this one and this one. Then, for the row after that, you'll just do the 2 stitches on, the 2 white stitches on both the white loops. But I'm going to go off camera to do those 2 rows. I'm going to come back. If you're still confused on how to do that, go back and watch the last 2 rows I did on camera. It's the exact same thing. And yeah, I'll come back when her hair is done. Well, not done, but like, done with the single rows. We need to do 2 more. Okay, so I just finished all the rows. I took my hook out because I went to go get bands. I don't know why that meant I took it out, but I did take it out. So here's how her hair looks. Yours should be looking something like this too. And yeah, now we're gonna close her hair up. I was actually so worried I was gonna run out of black right now, so I had to go look for some because her hair takes so much black, and I've already made 3 of them, so I'm running low now. But I just remembered that my best friend gave me some bands, and I was like, oh my god, thank goodness, because there was black in there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had enough black to finish her. So yay, and thank you to my best friend for buying me those bands. I still haven't told him. I was gonna post a thank you on Instagram, and I just forgot. But yeah. So now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be decreasing every third. So we're going to be doing 2 single stitches and then a decrease. And I know it's really hard for you guys to see what I'm doing. I'm sorry about that. But we decreased every third earlier. Well, did we? I don't remember. But we just do 2 single stitches and then a decrease. And we're still adding fluff. So we're going to do 2 single stitches. And then we're going to do a decrease. And we add fluff on all of these still. And we stopped adding the white line, so we're just going to do 2 single stitches. Then you'll decrease on the third. Like I said, we're still adding fluff bands, so don't forget to add that. So low on black right now. It's also so hard for me to see. This part is probably the hardest part right here to me because it's hard to see what's going on with all the fluff bands. And then the what do you call it? The fact that we're using black, I always have a hard time seeing with black bands. Okay, and then once you get to your C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And you'll move it up. So I'm not going to count around just because you may have had more bands when you started. Like I said, I think I counted 13, so I had 13, but you may have had more than that. You may have had less. We already said it doesn't really matter how many you had. Hair's very forgiving if you had less. Well, I hope you probably didn't have less than 13, you probably had more. But now we're just going to stuff her hair. Her hair actually needs stuffing because of how big it is. I think it's kind of funny, but I did stuff her hair both times I made her. Just needs some thing to hold it up better. And stuffing usually does the trick. But now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be decreasing every other stitch. So we're going to do a single stitch, we're going to do decrease, single stitch, and decrease. And we're still adding fluff bands, but this is the last row we add the fluff bands. So, yeah. I feel like it's very, very hard for you guys to see what I'm doing, but hopefully you're not doing too bad. I feel like the lighting always gets weird whenever I use black bands too. So sorry about that, but I feel like you should know what you have to do. At least hopefully you know what you have to do. You guys can't see what I'm doing at all. But I'm just doing a single stitch and a decrease all the way around. And I know it's super hard to see, but we just have to deal with it. The sun is also being weird too. We have these really random spots of like super light. I don't know why. Okay. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it and move it up. And then this last row will be it. We have one more row. And at this point, you can just take your C-clip out. And now what we're going to do for this last row is we're just going to decrease everything until it's closed. And it's going to be really hard to see. So you can just decrease till you can't see anymore and then just close it up because it gets really hard to see. So this will be my last decrease. And then once you have the last decrease up on your hook, you can pull the band through everything on your hook. Put the back one over the front one and pull tight. And that is it for the hair. That didn't take too long. I thought it was going to take longer. But looks really good. So I hope your hair turned out okay. That's the hardest part, and I know it was kind of hard for you to see what I'm doing, but between the black bands and the fluff bands, it was really hard for me to see what I'm doing. But now we're going to do the last thing, which is adding the face. So I usually add the nose first, just because the nose I usually put like right in the middle of the face. So ignore that random piece of confetti. But I put the nose like right in the middle. And I also gave her ears, so she has little ears. So we'll do that right now. So you're going to want to get some... Why is there that one random light spot? I can't do... Okay, it's fine. But you're going to get 2 bands. You're going to wrap them 4 times around your hook. So you do 2 times. Grab them both. And then wrap them around again. And then you're just going to pull a band through this whole thing. And then you'll tie the nose. I usually do it, like I said, right in the middle of the face. So I don't know if that's too high. We'll tie it right here. Yeah, that's good. We'll tie it in. I don't know if her nose is a little low now. No, it's good. It's good. And then for the ears, what we do is pretty simple. We'll get a band, wrap it 4 times around our hook, get another band, double it, pull it through everything on our hook, and then we'll pull a green band through all of this, and we'll use this green band to attach it into her head. So I'm going to come right here, tie it in, and it's going to look weird. We're going to want to go through that top cap band, and then we'll get a black band, and you can either pull the black band through everything on your hook, but usually what I like to do is I'll come through part of her hair, and I'll just pull the band through everything on my hook and just use it to tie it in. And that should make a nice looking ear. And then you're going to tuck the tails in. Luckily the black tail's super easy to tuck in because you just pull it in and you can just let it stick out of the hair. Then we'll hide the green. tail. And there we go, she has an ear. I don't know if I tied it in the best spot, because now there's kind of a hole in her face. No, it's okay, it's okay. And we'll do the exact same thing again for the other side. So you get a band, wrap it 4 times around your hook. Get a band, double it. Slide that band on. Get a green band. Slide it through everything. And we use this to tie it in. And then, after you've tied the bottom part in, you'll just go through the top cap band and go through part of her hair is usually what I do. And then get a black band. Pull it through everything. And tie it tight and hide the tail. Like that. And she should have ears. This ear doesn't look that great. I don't think I put it in the best spot. So I'll probably move this one afterwards, but I'm just going to finish up this tutorial because you get the gist of the ears, hopefully. But now is when I usually put my safety eyes in, or beads. You can use beads if you have them. But I've been having fun with safety eyes lately, so I'm going to put my safety eyes in. And like I said, I haven't been putting the backs in, so I usually just stab them into her face, and they stay pretty well. So I'll just stab them in. Like that. And then if you want to do cheeks, I'll show you how to do cheeks with these purple bands I have here. I'll probably change the colors, but for now these will work. So if you want to do cheeks like I did on these guys, you'll just come right under the eye, like right here. You'll tie the band, but you won't tie it too tight. You'll just put the back one over the front one, tie it sort of tight, and then hide the tail. And that's how you would do cheeks. So you'll come to the other side, come right under the eye. Push the back one over the front one, and tie tight but not super tight, and then hide the tail. Her eye fell out. Get back in there. Okay. And that is pretty much it. She looks a little wonky right now. Her face is kind of all shifted this way. I think I need to fix her face off camera. I always struggle so much putting faces on off camera. If you've watched a couple of my tutorials, you probably know that. But I think that is it for this one. So if you make one of these Brides of Frankensteins, definitely show them to me on Instagram. I would love to see them. My Instagram is gingercel, same as here on YouTube. I'm going to leave my Etsy, my Instagram, my other Instagram, and then my TikTok down in the description in case you want to follow any of those. Subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I don't have any more Halloween designs coming. There should be one more before Halloween and then that's it. But I always have other loom designs coming. So, yeah. But I think that is it for this video, so I'm gonna go before my camera times out. Bye.